Hello and welcome back to Chats con Sabor. My name is Yvette, one of your hosts, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Joanna. And today we have our special guest, Kevin, joining us. Hi.
Hi.
Today's topic, we wanted to do a little Veterans Day special with Veterans Day coming up here pretty soon this week, in a few days. And we're going to talk with Kevin, hopefully very openly and forthcoming with a lot of information, helpful information for people who suffer, and not just veterans, but people who suffer from PTSD and mental health. So I feel like it's something that we can all use and talk about and get some guidance on. So let's go ahead and get started. Can you tell us a little bit of your backstory, your military history, and things that we haven't shared here since you've been a guest a couple of times?
Have we not shared everything?
We haven't gone into full detail about your background.
Well, I got out of high school in 2008. I went to college for about 6 months, just long enough to figure out I wanted to raise hell, praise Dale. And then I kind of was like, well, what do I do now? Because I was failing out of school and didn't know what to do or where to go, and because I'm a state baby, so I didn't have nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. So I went down to the recruiting office there, and they had like Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard all in the same thing. And I was walking to the Army door, and there was a Marine Corps recruiter outside, and he was like, "Oh yeah, too pussy to come over here. I see how it is." Now 15 years later, Marine Corps vet, so that's how that happened. Went back, shaved my head that day, and went to boot camp in 2009. And I got out in 2013 with 2 pumps. That's pretty much it.
When you say 2 pumps, two
deployments, yeah.
Or two deployments, okay. Yeah. So
and I was a tanker, which is the most badass job you could have. Yeah.
So during that time, if memory serves me right, because I was married to a Marine, and during that time, I believe we were in the second push. Mm-hmm. Were you in Iraq or Afghanistan?
Afghan, yeah.
Both of them?
Helmand.
Both deployments were
Both,
in?
yeah.
Okay.
Basically mine clears, looked for bombs and cleared that route for the guys that needed it because it was supply chain. Mm-hmm. So we did a lot of Overwatch and stuff like that.
You mentioned the supply chain. My ex-husband actually was, he was in logistics, so he was part of that. Mm-hmm. Very dangerous job, yes. Sounds like. Yeah. Okay. I was online and I saw a post, and I want to know how both of you feel. Because, I mean, PTSD doesn't just affect veterans, as we mentioned before, but it could be anything or anybody. Traumatic childhood, say sexual abuse, for women, emotional abuse, physical abuse for children and women as well. So PTSD comes in many, many forms, and it's literally caused by traumatic events. So this little reel, or not a reel, but a little post that I saw, it says, having PTSD is like having pop-up ads in your brain for a horror movie that is based on a true story. How do you feel about that?
I think everybody has PTSD.
Yeah.
It's just so commonly referred to in my world because it's, I don't think anybody knew what they were looking at before this. Mm-hmm. And there's such a mass volume of it that they had to put a name to it and a condition to it. But I think everybody suffers with it, whether you got abused as a child or watch your dad die, or we all go through traumatic stuff, and it creates those holes or the damaged parts of us. I just think that it's a little bit more different flavor, if you will, when you're dealing with life.
Yeah, life and death situations.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, that the lenses were placed more on military because of military vets in general, is what I'm trying to say, because of the fact that they were coming back. It's almost like the vets have brought to light, and not, purposely, but it was more of a focus because the military vets were coming back from war and reacting. Do you think that because the magnifying glass was on military vets coming home, that now it's become such a big outreach? People are making they're more aware of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think it's also like, I'm going to use like a weird example here, but like shark attacks. They've always been around. They've always happened. There's been sharks since, since before we were around. So, but now we hear more and more and more about shark attacks, right? Because there's social media, there's actual real time, everybody has a phone, everybody has a camera, everybody's a reporter, right? So, maybe that is kind of like what you're saying. There's just more attention and awareness.
Right, exactly. There's more of a light on it. But, I mean, we can go to the analogy of your little kid. Your dad likes to smack you and beat you up. And you run to the closet every time that happens because that's your safe space. It's the same thing as, say, you grow up to be an adult, you're walking through Walmart, you get a sniff of aftershave of what he used to wear, and all of a sudden you feel like going and finding in a closet. Same type of deal. It's you walk into a crowded place, and all of a sudden now you feel like you're in the middle of the market. There's smells, there's noises, you're crowded. Like the last episode I had was I felt enclosed. And whenever you're on mission and there's people around you, you don't know what this guy's doing, what he has, if he wants, and everybody wants to kill you. And it's not a game. And so you revert back to, it's almost like a trigger. You're talking about shark attacks. Like, sure, you could go back into the water after you got, bit by a shark, but if something moves out of your peripheral, it's going to take you that quick right back. So I think everybody has a form of PTSD. It's just because we're dealing with taking life and watching life get taken. It's a different type of spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're bred to react a certain way. I mean, that's why boot camp is. You don't know it going through it, but that's exactly why boot camp is the way it is. They're in your face. They're screaming. They're creating chaos all the time, and you're supposed to act this way. If you differentiate between that line, you're going to get, fucked up. You're supposed to act this way in the middle of all this stress. And that's violent. But it's controlled, chaos and controlled vision. So now when everything's happening in life, I go straight to controlled vision chaos. What's the quickest way for me to make the most amount of damage and get out of this situation possible? And that could be feelings, that could be physical, that could be words, that could be putting holes in the wall. I mean, it's like, you don't have the capacity to just be like, okay, this is happening and let me control this. And it's immediate, like, destroy everything around and get away from it. So I would just believe it's prevalent everywhere in life. I think it's just all these veterans are going through this thing, and the military we got to put a name on it and try to look like we're addressing it. So, I mean, I feel that type of way about all that, but.
Well, let's dive deeper into that. Do you feel like whatever the government has tried to create these programs for veterans?
Man, they're full of shit.
You think
they're
it is?
Full of shit.
Yeah.
My buddy calls the VA because he feels like killing himself, and they tell him we got an appointment for you in 9 months.
God, yeah. I may or may not be here in 9 months.
It's fucking bullshit.
So
it's
bad,
all bullshit. It makes me so mad. And we've been so far displaced from the war that nobody cares anymore. Nobody thinks about it anymore. Like, at this stage in the game, you having a reaction, and people look at you like, dude, that was like 10 years ago. What? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like the government looks at us the same way. Mm-hmm. That was 10 years ago.
Get over it.
Yeah. But, whenever you're you get a whiff of the aftershave in Walmart, you want somebody to be like, oh, you just get over it. That shit was 20 years ago. So that's where the stuffing comes from. You start stuffing feelings and stuffing. And then you feel weird and you're like, nobody else is acting this way. Why do I feel this way? And then you don't have anybody to communicate that to because nobody understands. And then it trickles and that's why you have so many veterans killing themselves because they can't live in it.
Yeah. You mentioned mental illness, so we're going to kind of dive in a little deeper. I wrote down some indicators of mental illness, and I want to hear what you guys think.
You want to see if I'm mentally ill?
If you agree or you disagree.
Bang, bang, bang.
Oh, those are my favorites. Yes, no, yeah.
Yes, no, yes, no. Yeah, that's what she always says. Agree, disagree. No, well. I'm like, can we get a little bit more? Okay, so indicators of mental illness. Number 1 is pulling away from people and usual activities. Do you think that's a good indicator?
Oh, I'm supposed to respond? I'm sorry. I did not understand this.
Do you feel like it's a good indicator or not of mental illness?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Pulling away?
Absolutely.
What do you think?
I think two ways, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a form of protecting yourself, but sometimes it is a form of responding to some type of trauma that you have had in your life. So I think for people it's different.
Yeah.
And so I'm like in the neutral zone.
Yeah.
I don't agree, I don't disagree. I think sometimes it depends on the person, what it was that they went through. Because I know I pull away when I need to protect my peace.
Yeah.
And I need to process things.
Because you're dealing with something mentally, though.
Right. But what I'm saying is there's people that pull away because it's like a fight or flight. Mm-hmm. And then there's people that pull away because they need that time and space to be able to process.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you because I'm like that. But I think people do that, like if they're normally around a lot of people and then they pull their energy away, I feel like sometimes it could be looked at as depression or some other type of mental illness, right? You're dealing with something. But I actually recharge and I regain my energy when I'm not around people. So, and especially if I'm going through stuff, it may not be mentally. I mean, I'm using my mental capabilities to go through it because I'm processing. But when I'm dealing with stuff in my life, I'm not the type that just wants to go around and talking to everybody about it. That takes more energy from me. Mm-hmm. So I like to process things by myself. And I will literally, become a hermit and I get in this little cocoon. But I'm also a very introverted person. So I don't share and I don't overshare with people. And I don't get my energy that way. Like that's not the way I recharge. So naturally. So for me, I don't feel like it's a mental illness or like a sign, an indicator for me that I have mental. It's just I'm going through shit and I need to be by myself. You know what I mean? Like it's just.
Yeah, that's more what I was saying. Yeah. Not like you have a mental illness, but...
Well, that's what I'm saying. These are actually signs of or indicators that there's mental illness. And when I was reading this, they were talking more about teenagers or adolescents when they're going through things and then they isolate themselves and they're like, say, I don't know, little Jimmy he's a football player and he's the star of the team, but all of a sudden he doesn't want to hang out with friends and he doesn't want to be social and all that thing. So that I think that's what they're kind of going with this list because a lot of them...
I think it's an indicator of something is going on, but not necessarily a mental illness.
A mental illness, right. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with that. How about the second one? Feeling numb or like nothing matters?
Like nothing matters, that's
a huge sign.
That's a huge sign. Huge sign. Yeah.
And feeling numb to it too, really literally shutting off your feelings. I think that's a huge sign. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, along with a defense mechanism, I would say too.
Yeah. What about feeling helpless or hopeless?
Everybody feels that.
Yeah. That's true. Everyone feels it.
Yeah.
At some point, yeah. But what about those people like, God, here we go again. What about the people who...
Like you're sleeping.
Well, for me, it's
You end up bowing you right in the leg. Pow!
I was trying not to laugh and kept staring at the camera. And I couldn't help it.
But I kept doing this, like...
That's because of our bloopers.
That's exactly
Take one.
what they are. That's exactly what they are. Okay, so again, going back to the whole adolescence thing, when they feel like they're losing, like they literally have nowhere to go. There's no solution to their problems. There's not, everything is so exaggerated, right? When we're teens, in that adolescent mind. So we may think as adults, oh, that's not a big deal. Okay, so your friends were talking about you, like, big deal, right? Just get over it. You didn't get invited to the dance. Get over it. But in the adolescent mind, that's their whole world. You know what I mean? And so those are devastating things that happen. And when they feel helpless and hopeless, when there's just no light at the end of the tunnel, I feel like that leads to a lot of teenage suicides. You know, when they literally feel like there's no help, no way out of it.
They're trapped.
They're trapped.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Experiencing severe mood swings. I feel like that could also be not just mental illness, but maybe
That could be
Hormonal.
puberty, menopause, period,
PMS.
a bad day, the dog shit on the carpet. That ain't no mental illness. That's life.
Oh my god.
That's right, honey.
Then on top of that, you want to, go into your room by yourself.
Yeah.
So all these are, wouldn't say mental illness, say life.
It is life. What about thoughts? This definitely, I feel thoughts of harming yourself or others.
Yes.
Again, I feel like this is more geared towards adults.
Now, I can skirt the line on that one.
Yeah.
I can skirt the line on that one. Because you immediately said yes, but in my mind, I'm like, well, if you have to.
Yeah, but that's because you come from a different background.
Exactly
like
my
training
point.
And,
right,
yeah.
Yeah. Like me and Corey, we'll have conversations sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Just about things.
We want to hurt people.
Yeah.
What about the inability to perform daily tasks? Like just even washing dishes and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's more like with depression. Mm-hmm. It stops you from even wanting to shower, getting out of bed. You just really don't give a fuck because you're just here. You're all in,
The mind is a deadly
I'd say you
place to be in.
skirting the line of mental illness and right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's becoming a problem right there.
Yeah.
Like you go to your friend's house and be like, dude, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You stink. You got grease on your nails. You ain't got no toilet paper. What's going on?
How are you wiping your ass?
Right.
Or maybe you're not because
Need to be some conversations had,
Oh my goodness.
I notice you walk around scratching your butt. You ain't wiping it. You had a witchy butt syndrome.
Leaky gut.
Moving right along.
Oh yeah, we're trying to make light of this because
it's
obviously
heavy.
It's a heavy topic that we're talking about today. So, okay, we're at the point where we have our little slice of advice, and Miss Joanna has it for us today.
And I am so happy that my honey's here for this because I truly want to hear what his opinion on this one is.
He would say, "I agree."
True.
So,
True.
our slice of advice is as follows. It's actually a reel from TikTok, and I thought it kind of jumped out at me because of the fact that it was a man delivering the message. So here we go.
A man's partner is a direct reflection of himself. He will pick a person that is a representation of what he feels like he deserves in life. If a man thinks very little of himself, he will not have high standards for his partner. He will lower his standards and choose somebody that gives him attention rather than choosing somebody that he deserves. And then he will put up with things that he shouldn't put up with because he doesn't feel like he's worth more. When I got with my wife, she was a direct reflection of what I wanted in my life. She met the standards that I had for myself, and she has held the standard in a relationship just like I have as well.
What do you think of that? There, my love.
Well,
A person that is a representation of what he feels like he deserves in life. If a man thinks very little...
it's so good. It's
Hold
on
on.
repeat.
I agree.
Sorry. Sorry, my peeps.
I told you before.
Keeper.
I've said this before. A man that is not ready for high standards will do that every time. You go out and you find a woman doing worse in life than you are, and is in a financial hole or a pickle or has a bad family or something's there to where she gives you the old daddy syndrome, clings to you like a homeless person seeing somebody with a donut. And then you just do whatever you want. And it's because you don't want high standards. See, like you and I, like I said earlier, it's a requirement for me to meet the standards of my potential to be with you. When you say that, would you say that's true? Or?
Right.
Okay, well that's my point.
To be clear, there's no expectations that I've...
No. I'm saying...
I'm
saying I have potential that you and I know that I have, and it's a requirement that I at least try to live up to that potential because those are the standards I've set forth for myself that you see are good standards. On the other hand of that, if I wanted to just rip and run and do whatever I wanted to do and not hear no shit about it, I'd go find a woman who didn't care, who was doing worse, who was living in a trailer and I had a house and I could convince her to come over here because I have this house and now she feels obligated to let me do whatever I want to do. It's a cycle.
So, like you said, choosing somebody that doesn't have those expectations or those standards, even for herself, then it helps you to be where you're at, but be above her so that you're the savior and not the guy that needs saving.
I mean, let's take you for example. I believe that you haven't found somebody yet because everybody that you're bumping into doesn't have standards. Like they don't have the standards set for themselves. So they're coming to you like, "Hey, I'm Billy Badass. I'm good to go. Like, what's up?" And then you're like, "Nah," and they don't want to raise their bar of standards to explore that. They'd rather stay where they're at and find a lower quality woman
who's going to accept them at their level.
Yeah,
I agree.
But if the thing that men like that are missing, and what I was missing, quite frankly, you gotta get you a good woman. Nobody does it better than Joe. Nobody does. She won all of my heart. No.
Oh my God! I literally almost spit out my water.
No, that's one of the reasons that I love Joe is because the standards that I would be lax on or not interested in or get away with or coast through, I don't want to look like a piss poor man to her.
Yeah.
So then it just automatically reverts back to me into trying to better myself to be the man that I feel like she deserves, which all it does is fix me.
Yeah.
It's a good life lesson.
I think also that we've talked about this before on different episodes where people can only meet you at their own level, right? And if a man is not willing to meet a high standard or high valued or high quality woman at her level, then that's because he doesn't believe in himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The
1000%.
potential could be there,
Yeah,
you know,
1000%.
and she might see it, but that doesn't mean that he sees it in himself, and he's not ready. Maybe he's fearful, feels like he's going to fail if he tries. There could be a number of things that's holding him back, but yeah, I agree with what you said. Do you have anything to add to what he said?
No, you know, it's truly, I mean, this goes for both men and women. But yeah, some people would rather not try at all because they're so fearful of failing and how that other person's going to respond to them. So they will let something good walk out the door just because they don't want to make those efforts. And I think a lot of people forget that change is good. Change is not always bad.
Yeah.
Change is growth. And when you find someone that is on a different level that you are, and that person is working and thriving to get to where you're at, I mean, that becomes an amazing thing because that person loves you, respects you, and sees that they want to be up there with you. They want to be your partner.
Right.
You know, so.
Would it be the same, different, better, or worse if, like, have you ever ran into a guy who you felt that way about? Like that their standards were higher than yours? Yeah, I don't think that happens.
I mean, I haven't yet.
Yeah. I just thought of that. Like, it's curious how
Yeah.
it's never the other way around,
way
I feel.
around. And
Like, I feel like we're always wild, crazy, young, and then we meet this person and they're all like, you know,
And she just makes
get your
you better.
shit in order.
yeah,
You're
she
like,
makes
okay.
you better. Yeah.
It's never
and
the
not
opposite.
necessarily makes you better, but makes you want to be better for her.
Yeah, for sure.
And for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
relationship
Yeah,
and
yeah.
for your family. Yeah. I feel like it goes back to, we've talked about this in other episodes where it kind of goes back to the whole thing where men are meant to lead, right? But women are meant to also help guide them, you know, from the background and underneath, like we've talked about that, but standing by your side, but almost one step behind you because you are the man and you're taking the lead and we're following. But if we see that you're leading us over a fucking cliff, we're going to be like, honey, hold on. Like,
Yeah.
maybe we
I
shouldn't
got
keep
you.
walking in
I
that
got
way.
you.
Let's make a hard left or a hard right because we going to die. So I think it kind of boils back down to that is we are meant to help men be better. That's our purpose.
I agree.
That's our purpose in life is to help the men in our lives be better. And not just our partner, but our children, our sons. And, you know, we can't teach our sons how to be men because we're not men. So we can't teach them that, but we can surely guide them.
Yeah.
And provide the same service that we're providing our partner. Our life partner.
Well, you know, we'd walk through fire for Coochie, and if it's the Coochie telling you what to do, you don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I got to walk across these coals barefoot, or I don't get no Coochie. Well, by God, like, give me some sandals. Let's go.
That's funny. Okay, that's a good one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now we're gonna dive into filing away all the bad shit. It's a reel that I want to share with you guys. Of course, it disappeared. I literally had it and it disappeared. Poor why.
Dance break. Dance break. Dance break.
Okay, ready? And of course, it's since I have it on mute.
Brain is a filing cabinet, and it can only. So I want you to think about your brains as a filing cabinet, whether you like it or not. Your brain is a filing cabinet, and it can only store so many things. Filing cabinets can hold so many what? Files. And once a filing cabinet is full, where do we put the new files that we're trying to put in there? You don't. You don't. So you got to remove some. Okay? And if you don't remove some, you'll be like me. What I ended up doing, I didn't process all the things that I went through. I filed them all away, and I shut the door. Well, I got to a point in my life where I had one more I needed to put in there and I just couldn't fit it. So what does a person with PTSD do? What's one of their behavioral characteristics of someone with PTSD? When they get frustrated, they get pretty violent sometimes, right? And so that's what I did. I got a hot temper. I snatched a drawer off my own filing cabinet. And when I do that, all the files, everything that I had ever been through in my life are now at my feet, unprocessed, laying there. And the only way to pick them up and to get them filed back into the appropriate place is to what? Now you got to deal with it. So I want you to think about your brains as a filing cabinet.
What do you think about that? I thought that was
That's a
pretty
goodie.
good. Yeah, I thought it was a good
That's a
one.
goodie. I like his analogy on the filing cabinet. That was wow.
Do you feel like it's accurate though? Like how we sometimes when we don't process things, we just
Joe
kinda
was there the day that happened.
shove it
for
down.
me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about it or no? We don't have to. We don't have to go into detail.
No, I don't care. I'm just trying to figure out how to. I mean, I'll just never. I live with some pretty dark stuff and just never talk about it or, file it away. And Joe and I were going through something one time and the dam just broke.
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that pressure on that dam and it just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's been an uphill walk ever since that. Because I had no interest in changing. I was fine the way I was to me. There's something about that though. It was like you spend years and years and years like, nah, you're okay, just fucking put that shit back in there and toughen up. And then that one day it just all come. I was like really mean to her and she just showed up to be there for me and I just didn't, my mind couldn't process that. So.
You're expecting her to turn her back on you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like to show up with compassion, it was so far out of the normal realm of how things go. It was just, and I totally didn't even mean to go there. It just happened.
One file too many.
Yeah. I think that's the day she saw. No, man, I'm not trying to speak for you, but I would say that was probably the day you saw me.
I'm like processing, like going through reels in my own head right now.
And your own files.
Yeah. Well,
I'm talking about that day you showed up and was sitting on the couch when I got back.
That's like early on in our relationship. And but there has been several moments that switch has gone off, and I've learned, and he actually bought me a book on PTSD that I read and had some really good points and stuff on it, that sometimes I learned that what he expects from me is a reaction. And I have learned through therapy that reactions aren't always good. Let him process what he needs to process. And then if we want to talk about it, we'll circle back and we'll talk about it and address it. But I also have learned that bad behavior is not okay. And I am not the person that deserves that reaction because I'm not the one who did XYZ to you. So it's been a lot of work, and I've gotten a lot stronger because I've learned from, my therapy sessions and all that someone else's problems and trauma is not mine. So I have to allow him to do what he needs to do, but I will not react to him. Knowing the things that I know about him, I will not give him that. And it's more of a protection because you say certain things and then you start hurting each other. You know, words cut a lot more than being punched in the face. You know, that can heal. Words go into a filing cabinet.
Wounds on the heart.
Yeah, you know, so it's a lot of work. So
I think it's important to note, though, also that this is what works for you guys. And it's not a blanket, you should just be quiet when somebody is verbally abusing you. So that's not what we're saying at all.
Oh,
That's
no.
That's not what we're, the message that we're sending out. It's holding the space for him to feel his feelings and process and, you know, whatever is going on in the moment, and then coming back and talking through it.
And I think that's where the understanding for us both is that we always come back and we have a conversation
Right.
about the situation.
Because you allow him the space to process and, you know.
Yeah. I mean, don't ever be quiet and, you know, I'm just giving an example of what we go through, because there's some stuff that people should be jumping out the window for, you know, and running.
Yeah.
But we've worked a lot to work on the things that we need to work on, because he has his traumas, I have my traumas, and you know, sometimes two people with traumas will be like, bah, bah, bah.
You gotta think about it in the aspect of, I'm in the middle of the shit, getting shot at, returning fire. There's missiles going off. There's chaos all around, and you want to have a conversation. In the book she started, that guy said the most, what's the word? Real life, something that I could not explain to save my life. He said, for us, every emotion leads back to anger. If you're sad, you get angry because you're sad. If you're mad that you're mad. If you get embarrassed, you're mad that you're embarrassed. Everything leads back to the mad, and when you get mad, you react, and you react with anger, obviously. And that was that's just the truth. It all comes from a basis of understanding. Understanding is the key element. Because you can tell somebody, like, I've been through X, Y, and Z, but if they don't care enough to, like, understand how that would affect you or how that would create a course path for your life, then it doesn't mean shit.
I think it's also, though, we have to think about it from either point of view, because, I mean, we're talking about women also that have severe PTSD, say from physical abuse or sexual abuse from their past, and then trying to work past it and go into a healthy relationship with a man who is not threatening her and is there to love her. So we're looking at it from both points of view. At the same time, that man or that woman, in this case, with somebody who suffers from severe PTSD due to military experience or whatever the case may be, we can be there for people, but there's a fine line between understanding and being there and working through all the trauma, and then also making sure that you're not being somebody's punching bag. So we can hold space for the people that we love and for their traumas and everything that they've been through and they're working through. And because we talked about potential, we see the good side in them. When they're not angry, they're so loving and this and that. But I mean, we're talking about a Jekyll and Hyde type of thing here, right? So I just feel like it's super important for us to get that message out there too, because there's two sides of that coin. Yes, we should be there for people that we love, and yes, we should help them process and work through it with them. Will we ever truly understand as women what our husbands or significant others went through? No, because we haven't gone through it. You know what I mean? Same thing with men. Will they ever truly understand that when they raise their voice because they're excited about something, that makes a woman shrink because she's scared, because it triggers, like you talked about, the whole smelling in a Walmart, literally just raising your voice because you're excited about something. You're not necessarily yelling at her. You're just excited and your voice goes up a few octaves, and it's like, okay, well, that is triggering for a woman too. Man's never going to understand what she went through because the man doesn't have to live in fear like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I relate it to like war and postpartum.
Yeah.
In no way, shape, or form am I going to understand postpartum.
Right.
And most of the time, most men will judge it like, oh, it's not real. Blah, blah, blah. If you just flip it, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's unseen wounds, unseen battles.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, it's just flip flopped. Like you're going through a mental war.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But nobody can see it or understand it because they're not going through it.
Very true.
And then just judge you on how you're acting off of that.
Mm-hmm. And also, don't take it to the point to where, like in this case, Joe's handling. She's learned how to handle it, right? When there are disagreements or when you have an episode or whatever the case may be. But there are females out there that are they're a little bit selfish, and they look at it as like, oh, well, he's being like this to me. He's being that, not taking into consideration that, okay, well, like you said, there's missiles flying, there's chaos and everything, and you want to sit down and talk about your feelings, not about what's going on in here or here. You want to talk about your feelings. At that moment in time, it's not the right time.
Well, the thing, too, is being man enough to, like, because I understand that it hurts Joe to let me go. Like, but it's good for me. Mm-hmm. So she sacrifices that part of herself for the betterment of me. And I've learned that when I'm having an episode, like, the best thing for me to do is get away. Because if I just get away, I'm not saying things, I'm not doing things, I'm not around to be doing anything harmful. And we've worked, I think, kind of up a ladder where, it started out of me showing out and doing all these crazy things. And then now I'm just like, dude, I'm about to explode. I need to get out of here. And then we come back and revisit it. But
okay, so let's dive into some signs for men's depression. I was watching a reel, of course, and it was this Indian doctor, and she was saying that men's depression looks very different, and here are some signs to look out for. So you guys tell me if this makes sense to you. Number one, they become more aggressive. Yeah, depression. You talked about something before we move on, because I know it kind of sounds weird. When you're depressed, you're more aggressive, because you talked about the feeling or the emotion that you go back to every time, or that people in the military go back to every time with PTSD, is anger. Mm-hmm. But anger is actually a reaction. It's not an emotion. Anger is not an emotion. Anger is a reaction to fear. Fear is the emotion. Fear is the feeling of, oh my God, I'm out of control. I don't feel safe, Mm-hmm. So then you lash out, and it's kind of like with dogs. When they feel threatened, they start barking and everything. That doesn't necessarily mean they are bad dogs. They're barking because they're letting you know, they're warning you, stay away because I might bite you because I feel threatened. So it's fear-based. So what do you think about that, though, becoming more aggressive when you're depressed, or when someone is depressed, a man in this case?
Yeah, I'd say that's personally, yeah.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about starts arguments over minor things?
Depressed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
These are all signs of depression.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or that she says are all signs of depression.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Joe?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, depression goes through so many stages. It's almost like a grieving process when you're depressed. Like everything fluctuates when you're in depression. You have your good day, then you have your bad day, sad day, crying day. So it's like this.
But women handle it different.
That's what I was just gonna say.
For a guy, like she's saying, like if I'm sitting here sad or depressed about something, that's usually going to take form and taking it out on somebody else to not have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if I lost my job today and I'm sitting in the house like depressed and moping because I lost my job and I don't know what I'm going to do, and you call me and like, hey, let's go. It's probably going to end up like, I don't have the fucking money. Like, something to that effect is what I'm saying. Like, women handle shit way different.
Yeah, it's not about the
it has nothing to do with you. It's just because you're depressed.
It doesn't. Depression is depression. No matter which way you put it. We all have, women may be able to handle it better, but sometimes they can't. Yeah. Just like men, some men can handle it better because they can process things better. Some men can't. But depression is definitely like a stage thing. And it's stages of certain things. Because sometimes you're here, and then all of a sudden you're back down here. That's all I'm trying to say is because we can be happy now, and then 5 minutes later somebody can say something that's going to trigger that,
and then
you go right back down. You know, it could be just a small little word, and you can be super insecure about your body, your face, whatever it may be, and you hear just one word, and then you're back down to,
feeling awful.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is become easily agitated. I feel like that kind of goes.
Yeah, I was about to say that goes.
With the anger.
What about risky behaviors like reckless driving, gambling, or dangerous, life-threatening activities? Yeah.
That's the first thing I'm fucking do is get on that bike.
Yeah. Which is really
it's
weird.
The first thought that crosses my mind.
Yeah.
Like, no bullshit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's the first thing I think about.
Go fast and who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's scary. That is scary. What about turning to alcohol, smoking, or substance abuse to cope with your emotions? I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, where the fuck are you headed at 100 miles an hour when you leave the house? To the bar?
Yeah. With a joint?
Yeah. You're not going to the mountains to talk to yourself and watch a sunset. You're going to a fucking bar.
I would like to go to the mountains and watch a sunset.
Women and men, Or one of our friends is going to call me and be like, I'm pissed off. Like, you want to go to Botanical Gardens?
Let's go to the zoo.
Yeah.
But you guys do go up to the mountains, though. You go out to the woods.
But we're hauling ass around curves and
true. And you go
and camping. That's man shit.
That's
man shit. Yeah, you're dirty.
You're dirty.
Smell like smoke.
You're not sitting there over the campfire making s'mores.
Nah.
Kumbaya-ing.
Hot chocolate.
You're killing trout, put them on sticks. And
with face masks.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we should do a glamping.
Yeah.
Do that. What about become workaholics to avoid emotions?
Mm-hmm. That's an avoidant. 100%.
1,000%. Yep. Experience frequent headaches, back pain, or digestive issues.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting. I do know that with digestive issues, so we carry, men and women, all our emotions, we carry them in our digestive tract and our liver as well. So that's actually where we carry emotion, whether it's fear or
that's where our spidey
sadness.
senses are, ladies.
Oh yeah, your intuition. Yeah, that's where we feel it. ¿Qué pasó?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Moving on.
All right, moving on. Because I don't know where we're going with that. Most men are running. Oh, this is another IG reel. Let's see if I can find it. Most men are running on mental fast food. Okay, so keep that in mind.
Mental fast food. That's
mental
interesting.
fast food. So yeah, I thought it was super interesting too. Let me see if I can find the stupid rip. I think it's this guy. Okay.
You're overstimulated. Dude, you're not tired, you're overstimulated. You're not broken, you're distracted. You're not lost, you're just full of junk data. Here's the truth. Most men are running on mental fast food. Feed your mind garbage, and then don't be surprised if your life starts to feel like a landfill. The legendary Jim Rohn said you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But today, it's not just people. It's your playlist, it's your podcast, it's your feed. What you consume consumes you. Most guys spend more time building their fantasy football team than they do working on themselves. They're experts at other dudes' stats, but they're amateurs at their own purpose. But here's the truth. If you improve just 1% a day, small changes over the course of a year, that's not 365% better. That is 37 times better because it compounds. So in a single year of taking your life just a little more seriously, you can make massive changes in who you are. And Jordan Peterson said, what you feed grows and what you starve dies. So feed your soul and feed your mind like a man on a mission. Great books, surround yourself with warriors, listen to the truth, speak with integrity, and move yourself with some purpose. You wouldn't feed a racehorse with junk food and expect it to win, so why are you doing that with yourself? This is not a video game that you can restart, so lock in, level up, and be ruthless with your inputs, because you are quite literally becoming whatever you consume. You're overstimulated.
Wow, right?
Yeah.
Wow. What do you guys think about that one?
That was good.
100% true.
Yeah. I agree.
Most
That
men
goes-
are running on mental
Women
fast
too.
food.
I'm going through that as we speak.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell us.
Like I've taken, I ride around in the truck all day. So I used to watch like murder mysteries and Joe Rogan and all this type of shit. But now I'm like learning about retirement, compound interest, stock market, mutual funds, 401ks, Roth IRAs. How long does it take to pay off debt? What's the best way to pay off debt? How to, what about home loans and interest on home loans and values. And I'm actually diving into where I want to go. I'm not entertaining myself. I'm learning and then applying those, like you said, those small little changes every. It's very different. I've lit a fire
Good.
inside of myself by
That's
doing
awesome.
that. Just changing what I'm putting in, Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm stepping into the betterment of me.
Mm-hmm. I've said this before, and I say this to my kids all the time. What we focus on is what materializes in our reality. So we have total full control of our own being and our own reality. That reminds me too of the real, kind of like what he said, like what you're feeding your mind, right? And what you're feeding yourself. It reminds me of what I'm always telling you,
me.
like, be mindful of what you're feeding your brain. Funny. What does my phone have on it? Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to the next one. And this is a question that I have for you. You're representing all men here.
Oh, yeah.
How can women help men improve their mental health? What do men really need from women in that aspect?
That's a heavy question. I mean, it differs
Yeah.
from guy to guy. What do we need? Dude, you got me on this one. I don't know.
Stumped him.
Yeah.
Well, we already discussed how Joe holds space for you.
Yeah, so
to
I'm trying to
process.
think of whatever you've done.
That's what we need.
Yeah. But I can't, as far as like pinpointing, I mean, it's just been understanding and love. So the key there is to find somebody that's worth doing better for. Because if you don't give a shit about them, you're never going to do better.
Right. I think we kind of touched on that before.
Because if you do something for somebody else, it's not going to last.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
And men do what's right. Boys do what feels good.
That was a good one, baby.
That is a good one. That is a good one. What do you think? What's so? What besides holding space for besides holding space for him? What do you feel like you've done that has helped to support his mental health?
I became better. I was already in the process of, I've been going through therapy for a very long time. So I've learned a lot of tools that I can use because I wasn't always healthy. I always had the fight or flight mentality too. I was also, I would also want to take care of everyone and never hold them accountable. I wanted to save everybody and receive nothing in return. So I think at that point, when I met Kevin and stuff, I was in a really good mental stage in my life where I was able to give him boundaries, and I was able to tell him, I just don't have the mental space for this, or I don't have the time for this. And little by little, I just started realizing what his triggers were. Like, he wanted to be confrontational, and he wanted me to be confrontational, and that's not who I am, so that's not what I'm giving you. You know, so I learned my partner too in those areas. Again, this is us, not everybody else. And there's still things that I battle with that I have to work on because I've been so independent for so long. So that kind of plays in there too. So, I mean, that's all I can recommend is that you do the work within you. So when you enter, and I think I've said this before, when you enter a relationship with someone else, you have tackled your insecurities, your issues, whatever it may be, and you're not dumping that into another relationship.
So would you say, though, that it's fair to say that she set the example and she kind of led in that area with the example, and then was a role model to you? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something that people can take away.
Well, like I said before, like I was okay living in my quality of life. I was okay sleeping on people's couches and being broke and whatever the fuck I was out doing. Like, you know, it's hard to even just ripping and running and looking for trouble and doing all this shit. It was because I had no self-worth, nor did I have any goals. And then when I met Joanna, my goal became Joanna. And then when I have Joanna, my goal became be better for you and Joanna. And now that I'm being better for you and Joanna, now the goal is to how do I lead you and Joanna? It's all progressive, you know. And now that I'm starting to like try to pick up lead roles in a relationship, now is the time that we're in this dynamic of figuring out.
Yeah. Would you agree with him?
I just led him to water.
He drank.
He drank.
She shoved my head in there until I couldn't breathe. Then she's like, "Oh shit, no more bubbles," and pulled me back up. I'm like, "Okay,
that's tough love."
I'll go to therapy.
Okay, we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna play another reel because when I was doing all the research for this topic, I came across so many. This one is Dr. Breen Brown. I don't know if you guys have ever seen her. She does a lot of TED Talks and stuff. And this one's called The Male's Point of View.
I said, I don't study men. And he said, that's convenient. And I said, why? And he said, because you say to reach out, tell our story, be vulnerable. But you see those books you just signed for my wife and my 3 daughters? I said, yeah. They'd rather me die on top of my white horse than watch me fall down. When we reach out and be vulnerable, we get the shit beat out of us. And don't tell me it's from the guys and the coaches and the dads. Because the women in my life are harder on me than anyone else. So I started interviewing men and asking questions. And what I learned is this. You show me a woman who can actually sit with a man in real vulnerability and fear, I'll show you a woman who's done incredible work. I said, I don't study men.
What do you think about that?
Gave me goosebumps.
I know. And I think it's because women, and I use the term very, very loosely, young women, they have been conditioned now by social media to think, well, we're trying to revert back to the whole, instead of, well, I can do anything without a man, and now we want men to be men, right? Now we want masculine men. Now we want to put all the pressure back on the men, that they have to do all the work for us and be these tough, strong rocks, leaders, all of this stuff. We're putting a lot of pressure on the men again, right?
And financially taken care of.
Financially taking care of us, everything, all facets of the relationship. Now social media is saying push it all on the men again, right? Where the pendulum had swung the other way and we were like, okay, women are taking charge now. I don't need a man. I can do this. I wear the pants in this family. I hear so many women say that. So toxic. But I wear the pants and I make all the decisions. And I say toxic because I actually did that too. I was the man. I was the husband. I was whatever. Aside from providing for my entire family, but I did provide. I did work. I did all that stuff, So now social media is feeding them this whole like, okay, now we're throwing it back again. The pendulum has swung the other way now. Instead of actually being balanced and centered, where we both have roles to play, women and men, So I think it's interesting though that he said, yeah, I don't get all this pressure from like my dad and from my coaches to, or from my boss at work. The pressure that I receive the most from are the women in my life. My wife and my 2 daughters is what he told her. I mean, I feel like that's so super interesting, and I want to know your take on it, because do you feel like that pressure does come from Joe in your life, from Joe or other women in your life, or even just on social media and stuff? Do you agree with the guy actually that she was interviewing, that men feel the most pressure from women to be all these things? Joe's like, you better watch your words carefully.
No, I'm not concerned.
My first initial thought was that was a pretty weak man that said that.
That was your initial thought?
Yeah, because all you're doing is deflecting. Your boss ain't going to ask you how you feel and how you're doing because you don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. You're there to do a job. You don't sleep with him. You don't grocery shop with him. It's not his job. Mm-hmm. Men want to go through life without having to be vulnerable, and when your woman requires that, it then becomes, well, nobody else asked me to do that.
Well, I think he's saying the opposite, though. He's saying when I am vulnerable, because this is what society's telling me, now we have to be vulnerable with women and with our wives. But then he got backlash. In other words, well, who cares?
What does that look like?
You're the man. You're the man. I mean, we don't know the background, know, but from what he's saying is, have you asked? Because she gives a lot of TED Talks to women. I've seen other stuff from her. She's actually pretty good, kind of like Mel Robbins. But like he's saying, well, have you actually asked the men? You're saying to these women, be this way with men, but have you asked the men, what is it that we need? Basically, is what he's saying, right? And so I think that's where he was coming from, where it's like, I don't feel pressure to be a man from the men in my life. I feel the pressure to be a man from the women. And then when I do try to be vulnerable, I get the backlash because, well, you're not supposed to cry. Like we were talking about earlier. We put all this pressure on the men to be men, to man up and be men, but we're not allowing the safe space to be vulnerable. That's the way I took that. So I find it interesting that you kind of... you thought the opposite, like he was being a little weak.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go to work and be like, go to my boss and cry because I'm feeling away. Like, there's different expectations.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm kind of confused on. I don't understand what expectations. Well,
I think what he's saying is he's obviously not going to his boss to cry, right? But his boss has an expectation of what he needs to do at work, right? Or his dad has an expectation of what you need to do as a son, as a man, as, you know.
See, so like he's saying that women have a list and nobody else does.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so he feels more pressure from his wife and his daughters to be a man than he does from his actual dad or his not his son's
coach,
his coach or whoever.
Boss.
Men that have been there to help him become a man, basically. And he didn't even feel that pressure from them, and now he's feeling this pressure from these women in his life because they're so like judgy. They're judging him as because you're not doing ABC. Now you want to cry and be vulnerable with me, but I'm not going to give you the space to do that because I'm going to be like, wait a minute, why are you crying? You're supposed to be, doing A, B, C, D, and X, Y, Z,
Sounds like something that should have been figured out for marriage.
I agree. Most definitely. Yeah. And now, of course, he says he's feeling it from his daughters too. Well, who do they have to emulate?
Their mother.
Exactly. So I just thought it was interesting.
Well, you got to know more about the dynamics of the story. Like, is this self-imposed pressure? Is this self-imposed victim mentality? Or is it, Mm-hmm. Because I know, like, a lot of times, like, you can put, like, oh, these bills are dependent on me. But are they really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's self-imposed. And then when you bring it up and she's like, well, you got to do your part too. Like, well, that's why I want to fucking talk to you. There's so many different.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we don't know the ins and outs of what was going on in their relationship. And we're just taking
in my personal life, I've taken a very different approach.
Yeah.
I will, like, this conversation that Joe and I had about an issue in our life, like, I have been at least 5 days of reading and watching every video about how to communicate that in a healthy way. Because it was a vulnerable type of discussion. Okay. And I knew that it had to be treaded on with a certain finesse. So I learned and researched and kind of approached it that way of, so I think it all boils down to communication in the end. Because is this guy self-imposing expectations? Does she really want him to sit down and be completely open with him? Or is he just thinking that she doesn't? Or there's all different types of...
Yeah. Well, now we're going to go into...
And I'll tell you one thing that all men feel... 99.9% of them. You go to your woman and you tell her about something that you're feeling.
Yeah.
And it gets put off, shoved, disregarded, made fun of, or ignored. You'll never do it again.
Yeah.
That's true across the board. Mm-hmm. That is true across the board. So that sounded like, to me, there was a point in time where he was vulnerable. Something happened. Now he's like, well, I can't fucking win. Yeah. I tried that and it didn't work. I tried this, it don't work. Everybody expects the whole fucking world from me, and I can't communicate to you how this is making me feel because you're going to communicate this way. But if you have the balls to tell that to a total stranger, but not talk to your wife, there's something there. There's something there. Like, you're literally throwing a line out to this random woman who writes books instead of your wife. Like, why? There's a reason there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That's a different point of view. I like it.
Yeah. So you're willing to be completely vulnerable with this total stranger, but not your wife.
In front of
there's a reason. That's all I'm saying. There's a reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes people do that, so there's a bias outlook on the situation. Not bias. I'm sorry, I used the wrong term. But someone that doesn't know either parties and can help that other person process what they're thinking and where it's coming from and all that. I think that's why therapists are so, are so good to have and to use. And if you have a good therapist, because there's some wackadoodles out there, of course. But
there's some therapists that need therapy.
Yeah,
most therapists actually do get therapy.
Yeah, they do have therapists.
Yeah,
but I think sometimes that's why some people go outside to look for advice, because they need someone that doesn't know either person and can say, "Hey, okay, so you feel this way. Why? What was the action this person took to make you feel?" Because sometimes it's just you. Miscommunicating, or it's something that's in your head and it's been in your head and you've gone through it 1,000 times and you still come to the same conclusion, or or there's areas that you've missed. And sometimes it's just easier for you to be like, I knew I wasn't crazy. So I think that's why some people go out there. And there could be a lot of issues in that relationship, like the fact that he tried to be vulnerable and she didn't sit down and listen, or she passed judgment, because some women can be that way.
I think many women can be that way.
There was not that soft landing that he did at that time, no matter how minor it was.
But I think it's good to understand, especially for men, but even for women, you cannot put somebody else's, you put somebody else's feelings above your own when you love somebody, but you can't go through that for the entire relationship, because then you're going to start building up resentment. So you can't have somebody else's happiness at the expense of your own happiness and your own mental health. You can't help somebody at the expense of your own mental health. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I feel like you said it though, communication. We're big on communication here on the podcast.
We call it the C word.
Yeah, the C word. Yeah. Okay, so we talked about this gentleman, right, coming up and showing and being vulnerable with this with Dr. Brain, right? Now I looked up some ideas here, and it says how to actually sit with your emotions. So a lot of people say process your emotions, and that's easy to say. I feel like this is a good way to actually guide. It's like a little guide as to what to do, and this is for men and women, but especially with people with PTSD and mental illness, because a lot of times, like you said, the chaos is so loud, yeah, and it doesn't allow you to sit with your emotions, right? So how to actually sit with your emotions. Number one is stop trying to fix it right away. So when you have the chaos in your mind, instead of saying, oh my God, what's wrong with me because I have this chaos and stuff, don't worry about fixing it right in that moment. Take the time to feel the emotions. Whatever you're feeling in that moment is okay. And those are the feelings. And just know though that those are feelings. That's not who you are. Those are just how you're feeling in that moment. And then naming it helps you identify the feeling. Is it sadness? Is it resentment, dread, fear? What is the feeling that you're feeling? Why are you feeling the way you're feeling? Do you guys agree with that one? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Be curious, not critical, asking yourself, what exactly am I feeling versus what's wrong with me for feeling this way? Yeah. So not putting the blame on yourself for feeling the way you're feeling, but trying to get to the root of the...
Yeah, that's usually where we go to. Why did I do that? Or how did I get here? It's always blah, 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 throwing daggers at yourself.
Which is not fair. It's not fair, because you have to be kind to yourself too, not just kind to others. I said that already. Be curious. Where do you feel it in your body? Is it in your throat? Jeez. That's where I'm feeling it. Is it in your throat? Is it in your chest, your gut? You're not thinking your feelings, you're sensing them. So it's not in your mind. So you're feeling something. So where are you feeling it, right?
Hold on. Where do you usually feel? Do you get a gut feeling? Do you get anxiety?
When
you feel as though something's gonna go awry. Mine's always in my gut.
It's definitely in my head, but it's a weird it's a numbness. Didn't you say that
earlier? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a numbness for me. My face will get tingly, and I'll get really hot temperature wise. Yeah.
Does your chest feel heavy? No.
It's almost like I become hyper aware. It's weird to explain.
Well, it's definitely
Touch,
your nervous
feel.
system. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your nerves. Your nerve endings are super hyper aware, like you said.
The best way I've ever described it, I told Joe this one time. The best way I know to describe it is, think about looking yourself in the mirror, being trapped inside that mirror, watching yourself create havoc and you can't get out of the mirror, but you're screaming like, stop, cut it out, stop. But that guy that's doing all this shit won't stop. And then whenever he's done and calms down, he comes and gets in the mirror and kicks you out. Now you got to deal with and you don't even know what the fuck. They're like, why would you do that? And you're like, I did it. But, how do you explain that?
Mm-hmm. Kind of like, and I'll make a funny here. We had talked about this one time. We had seen a meme or something, and it said, like, don't be coming to sober me. Don't be coming to sober Yvette asking her what the fuck drunk Yvette did.
Yeah.
We're two different people.
Yeah.
We are two different people.
Yeah.
Like, I am not taking credit or responsibility for what drunk Yvette did.
Yeah.
No. Go deal with it with her. You got her there. You deal with her. So I think it's kind of the same thing, right?
Well, when you come to own up to what has happened, you're embarrassed now because of what has happened, which leads right back to the anger hole.
Yeah.
So as you're trying to communicate about what just happened, the first thing that gets said you don't like, you're right back to, well, fuck it. Like, They
don't understand me, so
yeah. And I can literally talk to myself. Like I'll be talking to myself in my head while this is happening. Like, dude, just calm down. You're gonna do something crazy. Just chill, slow down. And it's just my body's just doing shit
on autopilot.
And in my head I'm just like, please, you're gonna regret this. This is stupid. Just stop it. And before that, I'm, And then 30 minutes later, I'm sitting at the bar like, fuck.
That didn't just
come
happen.
creeping in
Damn
the
it.
house. And
There's
like,
Joe sitting
then
on
you
the
get out like,
couch.
what the fuck was that about? You're like,
No, I'm in bed sleep.
Yeah, she's learned. I mean, there's no doubt about it. When the rocket fuse gets lit, she goes in the house.
Yeah.
Because she don't like fireworks.
Yeah. Not very many people do.
Yeah, and I'm in the middle of the street going, woo! Then I come back in, drenched in sweat and bloody, and she's like, was that fun? Eventually you stop going outside.
Yeah, that's true. So the reason why they ask, like, where do you feel it in your body, right? It's because they say, place a hand where you feel the emotion. Doing this helps you create a safe space within like your body to feel what you're feeling. So if it was your heart, I guess in this case, put your hands on your face if that's where you feel it. No, seriously, like they're saying, like you have to, like, wherever you're feeling the emotion, wherever the feeling is physically, where you're feeling it physically, like the feeling is inside, right? The sensation is inside. But where you're feeling it physically on your body, like that's where you put your hand, you place your hand in and just feel it. It's okay to feel the emotions is what they're saying.
Yeah. No, my belly's like, we gotta go.
But that's what we do. We're like,
we gotta go visit the facility.
Our therapist,
because that's where I feel it.
Our therapist told me to grab my thumb.
yeah, something, anything.
And I'll tell you, like, there's not
For me,
been
it's
one
my
instance
pinky.
where I've been like, I need to grab my thumb.
Well, but I've done
I
it.
understand the concept, but
I do
like
to
in the middle of
self-regulate.
the last thing I'm gonna think about is like, you know what I mean? I'm too
You
busy
should grab his thumb.
I'm too busy trying to find somewhere to put it through.
There's too much of this going on for me to grab, and he's much taller than I am, so I would have to like.
Give me that thumb, damn it. I do that to self-regulate. I'll rub my hands. I massage my hands a lot because my hands, I feel I carry a lot of tension in my hands. So I massage my hands a lot. I'll do pressure points like this one here. That one's always real tough, which is tough right now. Means I'm carrying a lot of stress. But I do grab my pinky. And I'll do this. You'll see me doing this a lot. And that's just me self-regulating. Like you're in a safe space, Yvette. You're okay. Mm-hmm. You don't need to get up and run. Trust me. I feel a lot of times, like I just want to run. Like I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, and for no reason. It's just, I'm overstimulated, overwhelmed, I feel everybody's emotions,
Well, you saw it. I mean, there's no reacting.
Yeah.
It's 1 second I'm this, and the next, it's
like, whoa.
Yep, and we're done. We're out. We're gone.
Where'd it go?
Yep, Creighton. Whoever fuck we got to push over, get out of here.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
I do the thumb thing, and when I fall asleep, my thumb's always in my fists.
I used to do that, but now I have arthritis. So if my hands are like this when I'm asleep, because I used to sleep like this. I used to sleep like I was ready to
Golly. Jeez.
But I can't anymore. And when I find myself like this, because I'll do this, like, it's weird. I kind of sleep with my arms crossed and like this. It's definitely, I know. I psychoanalyze myself already. And I sleep like this, and I'm a side sleeper, so I'm like this. And this hand will be like this, and then I'll open this hand, because I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, no, gotta open it, and then I'll go, no, I don't like that. Because arthritis in my fingers, like, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, ah!
Thank God that my nervous tick is to do my thumb rub, because I sleep with my thumb inside my hand.
Yeah.
So I've been getting a lot of cramping and stuff in my fingers. It's because I sleep with it in my
Girl, just wait till arthritis hits, and you're not going to be able to open up. You're going to be like this. I can't.
I'll never sleep again.
I can't open my thumb.
I'm sleeping.
Hi guys, how's it going? I'm here.
Hi.
I got 4. I don't got 5.
Oh my god. That is so funny. Okay, the next one is go with what your body says. So cry, scream, shake, run, let your body release. I've told her this before. Stop holding all that shit inside. If you gotta scream, go outside and scream. Scream into a pillow. Cry in the shower. Whatever it is you gotta do, just release the emotion. Your body holds on to it. So just release it.
I've told her, so there's this whole quirk thing that I go through when I'm feeling a certain way, and she's like, just let it out. I was like, I can't right now. I have to, it's almost like my body has to go through a process.
All the stages, yeah.
So I'm able to, because if I were to try and cry at that moment, nothing would come.
Well, then I get to a point sometimes where I'm just like, I feel like I've already processed or whatever. And then all of a sudden, I'm just crying out of nowhere. And I'm like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? I'm a crier, though. I am a crier. I cry at movies. I cry when other people are crying. I'm cry when I'm happy, cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm scared. I cry when I'm mad. I definitely cry when I'm mad. So I'm just a crier. But sometimes I'll just be, normal. And then all of a sudden I start tearing up. And I'm like, especially when I'm drunk. I start crying a lot when I'm drunk. I'm like, oh, God.
Really?
Yeah.
It takes a lot for me to cry.
Not when I'm happy. When I'm happy, I'm good. It's when I'm going through shit. And if I start drinking to try to drown my sorrows, oh, forget about it. No.
Whole bottle of tequila. Yeah, right there.
I'll start crying. Crying like a baby. Okay, so the last thing it says, you don't have to do anything. Feeling something doesn't always require action. Sometimes it just wants to be felt. You just need to feel your feelings. But then you got to release them. This doesn't say this. You do have to release your emotions. You have to release the feelings. You can't hang on to them, because then that keeps you in this constant loop of depression, anxiety, fear, all the things. So you do have to learn how to process through. So feel your feelings, process them, ask yourself the questions, do all the things, and then release it. Let it go.
Yes, let it
go. Let it go.
Feel the feels.
Let it go.
Yeah. All right, I have our wow for today.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to use this one here. It says, you don't understand the behavior because you wouldn't do it. So basically, don't expect other people to act the way you act, or to react the way you act, or treat you the way you would treat them, because we don't have control.
Not you.
And we don't have control over them, right? So you don't understand the behavior because you wouldn't do it yourself. So that's our words of wisdom. What do you think, Mr. Kevin, about the words of wisdom?
Reverts back to what I said in the beginning. Everybody's got some form or fashion of PTSD.
Yeah.
So with that, I feel like you should have a little bit of understanding of You just put yourself in their shoes or something that is traumatic for you and how you would react, and you can't expect that from somebody else.
That's true. Especially when...
Just because it's not to you doesn't mean it's,
Exactly. Especially when we're dealing with our own triggers, right? Like something that triggers us is not necessarily going to trigger somebody else.
Right.
Even if they've gone through the same types of experiences that we've gone through. So everybody has their own triggers that are unique, I guess, to themselves, right? Or to each person, each individual person. So anyway.
I also feel like Kevin and I have had conversations about this when he gets hurt by somebody, because he's like, I would never do that to them. And I said, but they are not you.
Exactly.
So
I don't get hurt. I'm a man.
I'm a man.
He's a man, but he does feel a lot. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, you have to stop saying, well, I wouldn't do that to them, because that person's not you. And if you can know them for 20 years and they go and they do something to you that's malicious, that's on accident, not malicious, they're not you at the end of the day. So when you do things for people, you either do it with an open heart, not expecting anything in return, or you just don't do it.
Just don't do it,
Is expecting nothing in return different than expecting not to be shit on?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah. And you expecting not to be shit on, that's a standard, and that's an expectation for yourself. That's a boundary, right? Because you're not going to allow people to shit on you. Nobody should let anybody shit on them, right? But expecting for them not to do anything in return, meaning lending people money. Your friends, your family, whoever it is, lending them money. If you're going to lend friends and family money, you're already going into it with the wrong outlook, because most people that know us, when we lend them money, you should give it as a gift, and you should just not expect for them to pay you back. If they do, great. That's fantastic. Now, if they come to you and they ask for a loan and say, I need $1,500 and I'm going to pay you back in installments of $100. So it's going to take me 15 months to pay you back because that's all I can afford right now. But I need $1,500 right here. You know what I'm saying? That's then an agreement. And then, you should then expect for them to pay you back because they came to you with this expectation of it's a loan and they're going to pay you back. There are some people that are like, oh no, he just gave me that money or she gave me that money, so I'm good. And then they go about their business and they're like, whatever. Those are shitty people, but you can't set that expectation of them doing something that you would do in return. Like you would pay them back if they loan you money, but they're not paying you back. That's more on them. That's a character flaw on them, not about you. So, but you going into doing something good for somebody without an expectation of either them returning the good deed or even a thank you or whatever, like you just do it out of the kindness of your heart, then you're doing that, right? Now, you should expect that you're not going to get shitted on or shit on. You should expect that because that's a boundary you set. But if that's the boundary you're setting, then don't give them that money because you already know what type of person they are. Yep. And or maybe you do it once, but then if they come back and again because they think, oh, well, you let me some money the first time, so I'm going to come and ask you again, because you have all this money, disposable cash at your disposal. You have a yacht, and I'm just going to assume that I can always go on your yacht because you and me are friends, like.
So where do you draw the line of being yourself and like what if you're just a giving person but your expectations are never met? So
what's the expectation though?
Like I'm always giving people money. People always borrow money from me. Mm-hmm. And I expect like we have a conversation and it's going to be paid back. And then I end up getting shit on and like ghosted and stuff. So now it makes me want to be like to everybody in the world, fuck off, you're not getting no money.
I mean, and you can do that.
But I'm saying like, do you don't think that's wrong to set? Because like the whole be who you are, like don't change yourself just because people treat you bad, or like, you know what I mean? What's your thought on that?
I personally think, and I think you and I have had this conversation before, like, I personally think that you can be kind to people, and you can be giving. You can have a kind soul and a giving heart without, what's the word I'm looking for? Without being a doormat.
Without being the yes person.
Yeah.
And
without
saying
people take
no.
advantage.
Yeah. Saying no to somebody doesn't mean that you're not a good person.
Exactly.
Saying no to somebody, it's because either you don't have it or you have a family to take care of too. Mm-hmm. Now, if you have an extra $1,500 floating around that is itching in your pocket, and then somebody comes as a need and you want to give it to them, make sure that when you give it to them, you don't expect it in return.
Yeah.
You just gave them money.
Yeah.
You gave it to them. Mm-hmm. And also you know by what you do for that person. If it's a constant you doing and that person is not feeding back into you.
Exactly.
Then a no is a fair answer to say.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I feel like, where do you draw that line? It's after the first time. They shit on you the first time. You do a good deed. In your heart, it's a good deed, but you're expecting this in return. And there, like you said, there was a conversation about it or whatever. And then they don't. They actually end up shitting on you. That's where you draw the line. That's for me anyway. I feel like, unless there's an absolutely, like, really good reason that I should do this for you again. And let me tell you, the second time, I'm not going to be like expecting anything from you. I'm just going to give it to you because I know that, you know, you are in dire need and whatever. And I'm just going to give this to you and that's it. But you know what? At that point, that's it. I would do it on the first time. They shit on you the first time. Yep. You're not doing that.
That's where I'm at now. I was just curious.
I'm not going back. Like it's not happening.
Yeah.
Now.
I'm not
and
big
it's
on
so
second
crazy how
chances,
those people start trying to make you the bad guy out of that.
Because they play on your
heart.
Yeah,
I understand that, but it's just a crazy dynamic. It's like...
And everybody needs a villain, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody needs a villain to their story. So it's easier to blame other people instead of looking at themselves in the mirror and saying, I'm a shitty person because he lent me money and I didn't pay him back.
Well, they also don't have the balls to look at yourself and realize that, like, they're being enabled. Yeah. Is how I see it. Mm-hmm. You know, like you sat on your ass for 10 months and then, like, because I told you no, now I'm the problem. Mm-hmm. It just blows my fucking mind, dude.
They don't hold themselves accountable onto how they got there.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And expect me to call with an apology. Like, there's some weird people, dude.
Fix their problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very weird.
I'm just like, I'm just going to give you another dose of what I already gave you because it's how I feel. I mean, like, if I wasn't a true friend, I would have gave it to you and let you continue being a slack ass nobody. But I didn't want you to do that, so I told you no to give you some pep in your step and like get you to do some action. But now your whole life's ruined because I didn't give you that money that time. Please,
no, we don't have that much.
But that's just that's the growth in me. She'll tell you that. I mean, I used to be yeah. Meanwhile, she's at home starving. Like I'm just out here fucking giving everybody everything.
Gosh, Joe. You know, you could come here. I'll make you a sandwich.
I know. If there's any place I'm coming for a good cooking is here. Shit.
I say starving,
Yvette,
but, you know.
I'll be here. I'm starving today. I know.
We want to wish everybody a very happy Veterans Day, and we hope that you got some good stuff out of this episode. And thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Kevin, for coming back again and joining us on this episode of Chats con Sabor.
Adios.
Adios, amigos.